as a part of family, whether we are a grandparent, aunt, uncle, mom, dad, whatever it is, we've got a really cool role in our families, and that is to make disciples and make disciples and make disciples. And I realize as a parent myself, I would love to tell you that, like, in a pastor's home, like after dinner, like we pray for dinner, and then after dinner we just gather around and sing Kumbaya and sing worship songs. That's not how it works, right? In my house, at least. I'm just being real and honest. A lot of times it's a fight to get to bedtime. It's a fight to get kids up. It's a lot of tension, a lot of craziness, and a lot of stress. And even Christy and I, we really ask the questions a lot. How do we become better disciple makers of our kids? That's the point and purpose of family ministry here at Adventure. We don't want to do kids ministry and student ministry just as a means of entertaining your kids. We want this to be a place where you, parents, can have the opportunity, your families can have the opportunity to learn how to be the lead disciple maker in the lives of your kids. Now, I will say this. We have got two amazing staff people that oversee family ministry, and Laura Dorsey and Justin Burton, right? Our kids ministry and student ministry, I could not be more excited for the future direction of where these ministries are going, because I know the people that are leading them, and these people are great, great, great people. So I'm done. I'm going to shut up now, and I'm going to hand it over to them, and they're going to walk us through everything. So y'all give it up for our family ministry team, Justin Burton, Laura Dorsey.
Hey. All right, what's up, guys? Thank you so much for being here this morning. We appreciate you taking your time to come out. Do you need this? All right. So we just want to say, first off, we are trying to develop, like Brad said, a family ministry here to where it's not even really separated in children and student ministry. We're still going to be using those labels, but we're going to be working together, partnering to develop kids from the time they enter into her program, from the time they leave mine. And I'm super excited about that, and really in doing that, we want to partner with you guys. So first off, I just want to take ownership that we have not put that in place before. I want to say that but part of that is on me, that we have not done that. So as we go through this today, I don't want you to view us as trying to throw stones at you guys, because honestly, I'm a 23-year-old single guy who has no idea what it's like to parent. I have absolutely no clue. So don't view anything we say as us throwing stones, but really all of this is for us to partnership, and we are taking ownership that we have not put this into place before. You got anything?
He said exactly what I feel too.
All right, so Brad and I, or all three of us, were talking about how many hours of influence you guys will have in your kids' lives. So roughly, you're going to have 6,052 hours per year, and that is the time that they're awake. So we took, like, I don't know how many hours, 7 hours for sleep or something like that. So this is how many hours of influence that you guys have. Now, we know they're at school, but we want to look at how many hours of influence that we have here at the church. So if they attend every event, we're looking at roughly 150 hours. So that is time that we have influencing them, 150 hours. Can you go to the next slide, please? Oh, there we go. All right, that's 2.5%. We have 2.5% influence just based hourly. And this is if they attend every event. So if they come to camp, if they come Wednesday, Sunday, all this stuff, events, 2.5%. So if you go to the next one, so this is if they only come once a week. So if your kids are coming just on Sunday, that's 50 hours per year of influence that we have on them. So out of 6,052, we have 50 hours of influence if they're here once a week. That's less than 1% of influence that we have. And I say this by saying, even if they do hit the 150, which is really what we offer at our maximum, we are not the core disciple makers. And that's why we're doing this whole thing, because we want to partner with you guys for you guys to be that core disciple maker and us help you in that, not the other way around, that we are the core person and you help us. We want to shift that to where you guys are that core person because you guys have the influence in our lives, and for us to be that supplement and that help. So we're going to look real quick at student ministry, and we have written out new why, how, and what statements, really just talking about what is the purpose of our ministry, why we do it. So our why for Adventure Student Ministry is we exist to see students come to know and grow close to Christ, and for them to gain the tools and courage to live a with God life and share him with others. And really our core purpose of us having a student ministry here at the church is ultimately for teenagers to come to know Jesus, to come put their faith in Jesus. And once they've done that, we're trying to build them up as disciples in Christ. And from now on, like, we are making a promise to you guys that we are going to be involving you in that. We want to help you guys in that. We want you guys to help us. We want to partner together to do this together. And this is not just the student ministries why, but this should be our why together of why we're discipling your kids. Our how is we do this by learning to live a life God desires for us and loving people by proclaiming the gospel of Jesus Christ. And our what is we provide environments for students and their families to come and see, connect with Jesus and others, grow as kingdom workers, go and make disciples. And that's really our discipleship process here at Adventure Student Ministry. And that's just an echo of what our church's discipleship process is. So if you took a handout on the next one here, so we're going to look at what these different environments are, what we provide, how this is going to be beneficial to you guys and your students. So this first one, come and see. Really, an example of this type stuff is summer camp. It's our summer madness that we have, our bonfire, Kings Island, different events, pool parties, stuff like that. The expectations here, these are going to be environments that are going to be very seeker friendly. So if your kids have friends that aren't Christians, this is the perfect time to bring their friends. And it's really a time for your kids to grow with other teenagers who love Jesus. And for our volunteers to get to know them better too. The next one we have is connect. And this is similar to the come and see, but it's a more structured environment for the kids. This is where they're going to grow in community, just like the last one. But it's also where they're going to learn the essentials and the basics of the gospel. I was talking to our kids this morning, and so often we forget the basics. Like, we try to learn like deep theology, and we try to read like really intense books, but we forget the basics of like Christ died for our sins, and he loves us, and he resurrected from the dead. That's ultimately what we have to go to every time. That's the gospel. So examples of this, they're Wednesday night, basically our whole thing. So we have games, we have worship, we have sermons, and this is also a really great time for your kids to bring friends that don't know Jesus, because they're already coming in from these come and see environments where they're having a good time. They see people that they know care about them. And if they come to this, they are going to hear these gospel truths. And that's the core purpose why we do it. Like I said, I want teens to come to know and put their faith in Christ. And this is a great opportunity for that. The next one, for grow, these expectations that you can have is they're an environment that are very conversational, and they're going to involve a deeper Bible study. We're going to be looking into theological truths. We're going to be going through certain books of the Bible, and this is going to be just very conversational, where our teacher will ask a question, and we're able to open it up and work out these things together. An example of this, it's Sunday morning, second hour, so basically what we just did down there. And something that we are going to be rolling out soon. We don't have an exact date yet, but we're going to be having Sunday night small groups. So these are going to be split between high school and middle school. I will not be teaching either of them. We're going to have some seasoned Christians. We're going to have couples that are older in their walk with God, because this is going to be a great opportunity for them to disciple your kids and get other Christians in their lives. So I'm very excited about that. So stay tuned for that. And then we have Wednesday night small groups where I and BC teach, and then Melissa teaches the girls on Wednesday nights. So, by the way, we're starting that back on September 16th, so be looking forward to that too. Our last one here, the go. Now, this is an environment where the core focus is to serve others. So we've done all this stuff, developing your kids, and this is where they can give all that back to other people. And we know here that this is a discipleship process, so I don't expect the kid that's been a Christian for a year to be at that go place yet. This is for kids who have known Jesus for a while, who have a deep relationship with him, and everybody else, we're working towards this right here. We're working towards the go, to take this faith that we have, the faith that's so precious to us, and give that to other people. So an example of this, Wayside Christian Mission, I don't know if all you guys have been before, but it's awesome. I would suggest not just for our youth, but all you guys go. It's super cool. Service projects that we're going to be developing soon after all this COVID stuff, who knows. But we talked about doing a mission trip this last year, and this COVID stuff did a lot of weird stuff. But we are working towards having a mission trip within the next couple years that will be in a different state. And this is going to be a super cool opportunity for kids to share their faith with others and serve other people. So this last one here, and this is really how we're going to promote family ministry in our student ministry here at Adventure. We're going to have quarterly parent training. So this first one is going to come up this fall. We haven't set a date yet, but it's going to be in also for kids ministry parents. You guys are free to come to this stuff too. This first training is going to be on internet awareness for teenagers. So what's going on? What's the stuff that they're seeing? And these are not going to be times where I'm going to try to teach you guys. Like I said, I'm a 23-year-old single guy. I don't need to tell you how to parent. This is going to be a time for an expert in whatever field this is to come in and to talk to you guys and get you guys information. The next one is Newsleak week letter emails. I'm going to be sending these out on Tuesdays. And I have been doing them, but I want to apologize for you guys for not telling you the purpose, not telling you why they matter, why they're important. What these are going to entail, it's going to have our Wednesday night teaching, kind of our overview, series overview, what we're teaching for the night. And we're going to provide a couple talking points and some questions where we want you guys to talk to your kids. We don't want them to leave after we've taught and done small groups, and for you guys not to be active in that conversation as you continue to go home. We want you to be a part of that. Is like after we teach, we want to prepare you to be able to have those conversations as soon as your kids step into that car. And the last one, many of you guys know this, but I haven't made it clear to everyone that I am super open to be there for your family no matter what it is, whether it's a phone call, a text, email, or whether you want me to come over to the house and just hang out with you guys. No matter what the situation, never feel like you're bugging me or maybe I don't have time for it, because I promise you I do. I will make time because I love your kids and I love your families, and I'll do whatever I can to help you guys. That's a promise from me. So you can go ahead on to kids ministry.
Thanks, Justin. Just to echo a bunch of what Justin's already said, we're just excited to kind of move into this time of joining in with you guys. I know Justin said it already, but we realize that this hasn't happened, and so we're excited, and we're hopeful that you're ready to jump in with us too. We won't get this perfect, but we're ready, and we're just wanting to do more together with you guys. So I'm going to talk through just a little bit about specifically what Adventure Kids Ministry is doing. And so I'm going to start off with our vision statement, which these have also kind of been changed here recently. So the why is our mission statement. Like, why are we doing what we're doing? Why do we show up on Sunday mornings and have a place for your kids? So our new vision statement is Adventure Kids exist to partner with families in making disciples. So it's much more than just you dropping your kid off on Sunday morning or on a Wednesday night program. We want to partner with you. We want to work with you to help to make these kids into disciples who eventually make more disciples. So that's our vision. How are we going to do this? So we're going to do this by leading kids into a loving relationship with Jesus, and then also equipping families to be the lead disciple makers in their homes. And then our what is what we're going to do. So we are going to provide a safe, fun, and loving environment where kids can grow in their knowledge of who God is, while also providing families with the tools and resources they need to disciple their kids. So these environments are our Sunday morning. If we're able to get back to Wednesday night programming for kids, that'll be another environment that we have for that. But it's also other things like I'll be offering a baptism class at some point. I'll be offering a gospel class where you can be a part of that with your kids. Just other opportunities to find ways to where we can work together and grow in making our kids disciples. So a lot of what I want to talk about this morning is some of these new resources. I know many of you have joined the new Adventure Kids Facebook page. That's going to be a great tool. If you're not on Facebook, I'm going to be pushing this out in emails, and there's going to be some opportunities on the website to find all these resources too. So don't feel like you just have to be on Facebook, because I know some of you aren't there. But I just want to talk to you about these resources because as I've started, we have this new curriculum, which has been really it's just exciting to have these resources. We've never had them, we've never used them, and so as I've taken time to just work through all these things we have, a little overwhelming at times, but they're really great tools. And so I hope that as you hear more about these, that you'll take hold of what the purpose is and why I'm pushing these out to you guys. Because as you think about those hours of influence that we have, it's not that much, right? So I want to put tools into your hands so that you have something to work on and to talk about and to do with your kids throughout the week. And what I love about these resources is that they align with everything we're talking about on Sunday. So sometimes as a parent, I think, I don't know, do I need to get this discipleship book to do with my kid? Should we try to do a family devotion? Like, I sometimes just don't know. Like, what should I do? Sometimes I've started things and then they fall through the cracks. So what I love about this is that it's given to us, right? It's a place, it's tools that can continue the learning of what they're doing on Sunday throughout the week. And I don't have to do too much thinking about it. It's just a matter of finding the time to do it, right? So, and I just want you to know, like, as a parent, and as I sit and think of all of you as parents, like, I'm in, like, this place where I realize that, like, I haven't been doing what I should be doing as a parent, right? I'm not, like Justin said earlier, we're not throwing stones, right? I realize that for myself, I need to find time throughout the week where I'm sitting and I'm talking with my girls, and Eric and I are talking with our girls about God and about what they're learning, and this is, I just want you to know that this is something that has really just, like, encouraged me as I go through and learn about some of these things too. So, one thing that we are doing, so for those of you who are watching on through our Facebook streaming, take advantage of those online worship services that we're doing. So we now have one for kids in preschool and the one for elementary. So, and if you happen to ever miss a Sunday where you can't show up, use those. Those are just a good starting point to have your kids sit and watch the story. It has the videos that we're doing here on Sunday. So all those same things, if you're not able to show up in person, that's just your starting point, is take some time and have your kids or sit with them and go through that service that we have available online for them. And then the next thing that I know, we've started passing these out on Sundays, and they're also available online that you can click and view or click and print, are these parent cue cards. And so this is it's a simple card, and what it gives you is just some more talking points that you can start to have some conversations with your kids. And so I know there's been times where, whether it's church or school, you're like, oh, what'd you learn today? And, most of the kids are like, I don't know, or they say something, and they're, it's a short, quick conversation. They don't say much. At least that's been our experience. And so this card just gives you the ability to know, oh, I know what you were actually learning about on Sunday, and gives you a scripture that you can read together. It tells you the bottom line, like the main point that we're trying to make on Sunday. It gives the memory verse. So the memory verse is something new that we're starting. There's one in preschool and there's one for the elementary kids. So we're practicing and learning the memory verse each week, and that's for the whole entire month. So all those things are on that card. It also gives you a little thing of a suggestion of what you can do. And so for the littlest kids, it may be like, at bedtime, do this with them, or during your mealtime tonight, here's an idea. And so just all these great ideas and suggestions that we just have available now, so we're not having to think too much. It's just trying to find the time to do it. So those parent cards will be going home every week. So just keep your eye out for it and find a place where you can put it, whether it's on your fridge or maybe on your dining room table, wherever a place is that you'll actually take time to look at it. And then the next thing is the Parent Cue app. So this is just an additional tool that has very similar information as the Parent Cue card, but it's just right there in your hand on your phone. I know most of us have our phones on us at all times, and so it's just quick. You can just pull it out and be like, oh, here's what I know that you were learning on Sunday. It has the video, so if you want to watch the video with your kids, or if they want to watch it again, it's right there in your hands to be able to do. It also has the memory verse on there, and it has some of those suggestions on what parents can do throughout the week as well. So just a great tool that's just right there in your hands to use. And then the next thing, this is something we haven't rolled out yet. So this is new, and I'm going to be spending a little bit more time throughout the week talking about that. I'm going to send some emails and stuff like that, so be on the lookout for that. But this is called God Times, and what these are basically, it's devotions for kids to be able to do. So when you think about yourself, and if you take time throughout the week to have a quiet time or a devotion time, this is kind of an early starting point to teach our kids about what that looks like. And so I am most excited about this for myself. And so what it does is it's 4 or 5 days depending on the age, and and so there's one for K1. Let me back up. It starts for elementary kids. So the preschoolers, we don't have the God Times for, so I would focus in on using those Parent Cue and the Parent Cue app for the preschool. But as they get into elementary, these are what we have available. And so it's a 4 or 5 day thing that really should take about 5 to 10 minutes. But it has to start off by being modeled. And so a couple of things here, right? Like if kids see us spending time in the Word and taking time to have a devotion or our quiet time, they're going to be more likely to want to do that too, right? So I want you just to think about that too, am I modeling that for my kids? And if you're not yet, this is a perfect opportunity to do this together as a family, right? So I might take 5 minutes and I'm going to sit and we're going to do this together as a family. And at some point, your kids may be able to do these on their own, especially if you have a 4th or 5th grader. As you model this and you go through this and you show them what that looks like, and you help them even to figure out when a good time during the week is or during the day is to do that, then they should be able to start being able to do some of these on their own. What I would encourage is if you're going to do this is to get your kids a journal. A lot of these things ask them to draw or to write, and so having a journal that they can pull out for their quiet time, for their God time, just kind of makes them feel special. You can have them decorate a journal or a notebook or whatever you have available, even if it's just pieces of paper that you staple together. Just something special that they can keep, that they know, oh, that's my time with God, that I'm going to go and spend doing these things. So what I love about all these resources is that it's just, it gives the kids chance throughout the week to continue to hear the same thing. So when you think about a kid's learning, a lot of times the repetition helps them to remember it. And so it's not just, oh, I learned that on Sunday, and I don't hear it again at all the rest of the week. So it gives them some different points throughout the week that they can just review what they've already learned. So that's what I love about all these things. And then I briefly talked about the Adventure Kids Facebook page, but just if you haven't joined that, I'm going to just be pushing out a little bit more information. I've just barely kind of started posting some things, but I'll be putting some more things on there as well throughout the coming months. Justin mentioned having some parent quarterly trainings, and so we'll be doing some of those things too. Nothing is set in stone yet, but just kind of look for some of those things to be rolling out in the future months that you can be a part of. So let me see if I'm missing. Okay, last thing. This is for all families, so this doesn't just have to do with kids ministry, but for all kids. I think the hardest time, or the hardest thing, is to think about finding the time to do this. If you're even sitting here right now and you're like, I don't even know, like, how am I going to make this work? Where do I start? How do I even start doing some of these things with my kid? What I have found for myself is just to think about what your schedule even looks like. So many of you are working from home now. Many of your kids are at school, at home. And so just think about what your week looks like, and think about what natural times you already are spending with your kids. And I know it looks different whether you have a toddler or a high schooler, but just think about, are you eating breakfast together, or are you helping them in the morning get ready? Do you have lunch together now because you're all in the same house? Do you have dinner together? Are you putting your kids to bed at night? So what times are you already spending with your kids? And maybe it's driving to the grocery store, taking them to a baseball game. Whatever those times are that you have with them, how can you use some of this stuff that Justin's going to be giving you some things that are some questions to continue the conversations throughout the week, and some of these resources that we have now for kids ministry. How can you take some of those natural times and start to incorporate some of these conversations into that time you have with them? So it doesn't have to look like, oh, we're going to spend an hour every night together as a family and we're going to talk through all these things. It doesn't have to look like that. If you want it to look like that, it's amazing. But if it's like, hey, at dinner time tonight, let's pull out that cue card. Let's pull up the questions that Justin sent that they're talking through on Sunday, whatever resource you want to do, and just try to take some of those moments that you already have. And then what Justin and I just want to reiterate is that we are here. We want to work with you. We want to be available to you. We may not have all the answers, but we're willing to try to find the answer with you. And so just know that if you are stuck with, I don't know how to start, I don't know where even to start with this, let us know. And we will work as best we can with you to even have a starting point to try to do some of these things that we've talked about today. I don't want it to overwhelm you, because we all have to find a place to start to at least move forward to being those lead disciple makers in the lives of our kids. So we're grateful that you have come this morning, and Justin is going to close in prayer, unless you have something else.
Just real quick, if you have any questions, feel free to pull us aside after or give us a phone call at some point. we won't be doing a panel today, unfortunately. But yeah, if you have any questions, just contact us. So, all right, let's go ahead and pray. God, thank you for this day that you've given us today. Thank you for these families that are here. I pray that the time that we've had has been edifying. Lord, I pray that as a staff and as parents that you would humble all of our hearts, Lord, to where we're able to listen to you. It's not just us partnering together to disciple their kids, but Lord, you are the core reason we're doing so. So Lord, I pray that you would give us strength and that you would guide us into what we need to do, Lord. And I pray that, honestly, like God, I want to bless these kids, Lord. I want to raise them up to you. I pray for the ones that don't know you, whether it's in the children's ministry or the kids' ministry, Lord, that you would work in their hearts and you would bring them to a faith in you. I pray that you would give us all strength as we disciple them after that fact. Amen.
If you didn't get, there's a couple of printouts at the back. Justin has one for students, and then I have one for kids, as well as some of those God time cards. If you're wanting to just take a look at what this one for this week looks like, we'll start passing those out the following Sunday. But if you're like, oh, I want to just see what those look like, there's a copy of those back there, and they're labeled by their grade level. So take a peek at those. If you are watching online, I did post a link to a folder that has all those handouts on them as well, so you can find those on the Facebook page. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Peace out.